Woo! Baby, baby, baby. Back. It's nice to be back. Although I was hoping for some Lion King music. We don't have no Lion King music. I wanted some Lion King music. I know Harry is recuperating, trying to get back on the good foot. I tell you, that second one to do you in. I know, I've done it. But Harry is around. He is never not around. Harry is around. He just ain't working, but he working. And I hope he feels better soon. And if he ain't learned lessons the first time, he will learn lessons this time to go easy, follow all the directions, do what the physical therapists tell you to do. It's going to be slow, but slow and steady wins the race. Don't be a fast ass, Harry. Don't be trying to run. We'll do that in September. Well, we're going to walk in September. I got up early this morning. I got all my tech situated. I made some tea. I am back. I am back. It is lovely to be back. I missed y'all. And if I could, I would do my show from Senegal. And it could be done. It really can be done. Because the time difference is right now, right now in Dakar, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 2:05 to be exact. So I really could have did my show from Dakar, from Senegal in Africa. I had a great time. I'm gonna talk about it from now until whenever. God knows until y'all get sick of hearing about it, you know. But I'm gonna save the good stuff for when Harry comes back, so that we could like chop it up. Because I think Harry would enjoy Africa. Harry, you would like Africa. One, because they eat a lot of chicken. So it's a lot of chicken in Africa. I had no idea. A lot of chicken. What else? Let's see. We had a good time. The flight was fine. I told you I paid a little bit more to upgrade. So I upgraded. It was very comfortable to be able to stretch my legs and not be sandwiched in. It was nice. I'm old now, and that's the only way I could rock. Seriously, that's the only way I could rock now. I have to get comfort. Comfort over speed any day. I'm in my Cadillac mode of life. That's comfort, not speed, baby. Comfort, comfort. It's all right. I'm a rock with it. I'm a rock with it. So, how y'all been? So there was a little snowstorm here while I was away. People was letting me know, and I was like, "Ooh, it is not it's not snowing in Senegal. It was like 90 degrees every day. Seriously, it was like 90 degrees every day. And thank God I went to REI to get the recommended mosquito repellent. Cause baby, oh my God, the mosquitoes. It's a lot. And this is a bad season for them. And it's not even the rainy season yet. So I would imagine that people have to wear armor. These African mosquitoes are relentless. And my bed had a mosquito netting. So every day, you drop it down. And if you get one stuck in the netting with you, oh my God. Between the mosquitoes and the no-see-ums and other manner of bugs that they have that will bite the crap out of you. But the picoridin repellent was really good. Um, I put it on twice a day. It lasts for 14 hours. But these mosquitoes know how to tell time. So when you get to the 14th hour, they know and they come for you. So around the 13th hour, I'd go and re-up myself so I could sit out in the evenings. Because you have to wear bug spray from the time you get up to the time you go to bed. And sometimes you have to put a little, just a dab on at night, because if a mosquito gets under your netting, it's going to get you, you know. And I'm still taking my malaria pills. I've got like a week's worth of malaria pills to scarf down. But I'm gonna do it because I don't want malaria. Because I got bit a couple of times. So I'm not trying to suffer. Suffering is not attractive to me. I know there's some people who find pain pleasurable. I'm not one of those people. Seriously. I'm not one of those people. So so it was great. Direct flight, got there on time, got back all right. It was great. When you upgrade, they treat you nicer. They really do treat you nicely. And they feed you nicer, and they give you nicer snacks. And then all the gifts that you get. You know. You get a nice pillow, you get a blanket, you get all the alcohol you want to drink if you could catch them. Snacks, a full-on meal, a nicer meal. It's so classist on the plane. The Delta One people, then I'm behind the Delta One people in the premium seat, and then there's next to behind me, in the next part of the plane, is the comfort, which is nicer seats, and then in the back it's like slave shipish economy. The cheap tickets, and the whole plane is going to the same place, but how you want to arrive is what makes the difference. And I guess people are willing to pay for how they show up. And you get off the plane earlier. When you're back there in economy, it really is a slave ship. I'm not joking. You're packed in there. And it's just terrible. But if you're young, you don't want to pay the money, fine, do it. Get economy. The whole plane is going to end up in the same place. I'm too old to be squeezing my fat behind in an economy seat with two other people next to me, and I'm trying to roll myself and try to, you know, make myself smaller in a tiny, tiny space. I'm 5'8". I'm 275 pounds. Yes, I've lost some weight. 275 pounds. Do the math. So sitting in a comfort seat where it's just me and somebody next to me, and the seats are wide, not wide enough for my, not wide enough, but comfortable. I want a whole love seat. That's what I want. But it was fine. I had a good time. So, so yeah. So the flight was fine. The food was fine on the flight. There wasn't too much that I couldn't eat. Uh, they give you champagne or sparkling wine or whatever the hell it is. It was pretty good. It's a long flight. I watched a bunch of movies. I don't know what I watched going. I think I read. I read for most of the time, and I listened to jazz for most of it, because I could get a jazz station, they have jazz listening music. So I listened to jazz. It was really nice, and it was night, so you know, I was, it's a long flight, 9 hours, 9 hours, somewhere around there. So I land. We were greeted by the sea salted honey folks. Oh, I exchanged some money right there, and then you step out, and you are in Senegal, and the sun, was blazing. The day was starting. It was hot. 8 o'clock in the morning or something. It was hot as all get out. It's like being in Mississippi in August, or New Orleans in August. Hot, humid, beautiful. And so we were waiting for everybody to get off the flight. I don't check luggage. I have, my luggage is carry on. So I was the first one out the airport, and then an hour later, everybody else gets out the airport, because you have to, I whisked through custom, all the things, because I have my luggage with me. So it was fine because I got to be outside. They took me to the car and I waited. They gave me some water. It was gorgeous. And then I had to reach for my bug spray right then and there because those mosquitoes was out. I was like, oh shoot. I was like, oh my God. So I had to get my spray out and go to town. I mean, from head to toe, because the mosquitoes was, ja, I don't know what to make of that. You know, they on the right continent, I guess. They are relentless. So we arrived. We meet everyone. I meet the ladies, the women. Two are from Seattle, so it's like a 24-hour travel day for them. So two were from Washington, the state of Washington. One from North Carolina. Uh, One from Texas. So it was a nice, interesting mix of women. I enjoyed them very much. Right off the cuff, I liked them, and we just bonded and got to know each other and settled right in. And the Nicole, who is uh, the keeper of this trip, the maker of this trip, she didn't greet us because she wasn't in Africa yet, but she had someone who was on the tour the last time, and she met us, Danny, lovely young sister. Oh my God, what a wonderful spirit! And so she was going to be with us until Nicole arrived, and then she had to go back home. Wonderful young woman. Oh, the world is. If I had to leave the world today and knowing that that sister's in the world, I feel like she's one of these young people that the world's gonna be all right because she's in it. She's smart, talented, and got great organizational skills. And then the two El Hodges, they both were named El Hodge, and very different. And Abdul, who was with us for a lot of it, but he was expecting a baby too, so he had to go and sit and wait for the baby. So, but he was with us for the for most of it. So we hit the ground running. We go to the residence, which is stunning, beautiful villa with a pool, nice rooms, everything just gorgeous. Uh, Someone cooking for us, ladies cooking for us. So we were there. We were supposed to be there for like 4 days or 5 days, but the civil unrest happened. So we got out of synagogue. We got out of Dakar. We got out of Dakar because the embassy was sending messages like, "All right, there's gonna be some protests, and it's probably gonna get violent. So we need all you Americans to get your little asses out the way." And so they made a decision to like get us to La Petite Côte a couple of days earlier than we had planned to, which was fine. Which was the right call because violence did break out in the capital and roads were blocked. There was another group of riders that were there, and they opted to stay, but they were locked in. So, but they got out. They got out. They got on. They left. I mean, they left to go home. But it was, a little challenging because, challenges, unrest. So I had a good time. I'm wearing my turban that I bought from Market. Yeah, I washed it. It's washed. I washed all the things. All I came home and unpacked and washed all my stuff. Put it away. I've got caftans galore. I washed them all and put them away because they won't make an appearance until summer here. Although I was wearing them every day there, but Africa. So, Dakar is bustling. It is amazing. Uh, I tell you, it's a busy city. It's a city. It's busy. It's bustling. People are working. They're moving back and forth. it was amazing to sort of see and to be. And I tell you what I love. It is there's something as a black person exciting to be in a country that is black, to be the majority. It's exciting and comforting, you know. And when you did see somebody white, it was quite jarring. It's like, oh, white people. Like, wait, what? You know, it was jarring to see white people. Now, there's lots of white people in Africa. I'm not suggesting there aren't any white people, but not in the way that you think. You know, it's quite jarring to see them, and European white people at that. And European white people are different than American white people. I mean, the same foolishness goes on. But you know, European white people have been racist a lot longer. You know what I mean? Like it's in their DNA. Like it's in their skin. It's in them to be assholes. No shade to my European friends, but some of y'all need a little home training. That's all I'm gonna say right now. So, you know, we did the sites. We went to the Museum of African Civilization, which is huge and interesting and very, I was impressed. Art is gorgeous. We went to the big monument, of the the black family. You know, it's like the second tallest monument in the world. It is stunning up there. We didn't climb up the steps. This is 280 steps to get up that joker. You know, they let us drive around, so we drove around and went up the back way, which was really nice because I don't know if I could have did 280 steps in the high noon. I tell you what, I was impressed by. They have these fan outlets, sports fan outlets. They have a big screen and people can gather, and food trucks come or whoever, and you know, you could watch a game with other people. And they have them all over the city. And how we would go to a bar, well, you go to this little fan area. At first, I didn't know what was happening. I was like, what's going on? And they said, you know, because soccer is such a big deal, football, they call it football. We the only people that call it soccer. It's such a big deal that they just created spaces for people to gather so they could watch their teams. And what was going on was the Africa Cups, you know. So from up top of the statue, you could watch. I mean, you can't really watch, but you could see people there gathering. And it'd be lots of people. And, you know, Senegal is a coastal country. So it sits right on the water. So I think that contributes to making it feel, you know, not so ridiculously hot. I mean, it was hot, but it was fine. It was like Florida hot, you know, like down south hot. It's good. So yeah, so we got up on a statue. I mean, all my pictures are up on my Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to see them, go see them. But we went to the mosque that was built on the water, on the ocean. Beautiful. We didn't actually go down it because it's like another 2,000 stairs to get down, and we were like, oh, we're dog tired. Because if you go down, you got to come up it. There's no elevator. I was like, nope, we're not doing that. So we just stood on the lookout and looked down. Lazy Americans. Yes, that would be us. So it was nice. We ate good every night. I ate more fish. I ate more fish in the last 2 weeks than I've eaten in 10 years. I'm not kidding you. All kinds of fish. I have a particular favorite fish. The monkfish is probably my favorite. You know, because it's very dense and sweet. I love it. They're not big on vegetables, except root vegetables, like carrots and yucca and yams, potato, that kind of thing. You know, very root vegetables. You know, you'd be hard pressed to find some broccoli, spinach. You'd be hard pressed to find it. They will make you a salad though. There's always a salad. So, yeah, and drink, lots of fruit drinks, which was nice. They do a lot of bissap, bossip, which is our version of a hibiscus. Um, Lots of baobab tree fruit drink. Uh, they're not people for a lot of. Well, they are. They are a lot. They are people for sweetness, but I think that's the French inspiration. But I thought the potatoes, like the potatoes you buy in the bag, because the regulations are European centered, they don't serve or sell food with a whole lot of nonsense in it, you know. And you know how we have all kinds of additives and things. They don't do that in Senegal, and I think it's because of the European influence. So if you get potato chips, it's two ingredients: potatoes and oil, maybe some salt. Like they're not selling you there was no potato chips with all that stuff on it. Like a whole bunch of ingredients. Nope. Not even the barbecue chips that were like, and they have a short shelf life. They don't be playing around with stuff. I was like, wow, you know. And being in a country that was colonized by the French, you get some good ass wine. You benefit from the good ass wine. Oh, so much good wine, and ridiculously cheap. I'm talking Bordeaux's, Margons, all the wines that I enjoy, cheap, cheap, $6, $7 a bottle. I'm not kidding you. And even the most expensive wine might be like $10, which would be equivalent to like 20, $25 here, something like that. Good ass wine. I, when I tell you the wine was good, it was good. And I took a fancy to La Gazelle, which is a local beer, which was good. It was really good. I was like, okay. So I drink La Gazelle, and what did I drink? William Pete, which is the blended Scotch whiskey. Which would be like an Elijah Craig or something. Cheap, good, 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 good. It's like, oh my God. And it's a Muslim country, so they don't flaunt the fact. You go in a grocery store, you can buy whatever you want. You can get beer, wine, liquor, spirits, all of it in the grocery store. They don't got a problem with it. You know, Lots of fruit. So it was good. It was, Africa is in me now. I feel very much African. I actually step into African American. That would make sense to say. I really, it makes sense for me to say African American. Before it was a little hollow, whatever. They just lumped us to say that because, we are descendants of. But having spent that much time, I'm like, I get it. I'm African. I'm clearly African. The shopping was amazing, fun, a little haggly, but they practice something called, is it Tangara, which is hospitality in Wolof. So they're dead serious about that. you know they don't want to offend you. uh, they treat you nice. They're happy to see you. They were welcoming. I mean, I really was. I really felt at home. I didn't feel afraid or anything. Or anything. You know. It was magic. I don't even know if magic captures it. People were just welcoming and beautiful and kind and generous. and fun. And it was nice to relax in a beautiful space with beautiful women working on stuff that we were working on. So I have to get back. I've just got to get back. That's just at the crux of it, at the heart of the matter. I just have to get back. I have to get back. You know. I don't know what they're gonna do about these elections. I think they've been put off till December. People was not happy about that. So the president, I guess, I could talk all this mess now. I didn't dare say nothing while I was in their country because I don't know who was for who. Uh, he the elections were supposed to happen at the end of February, and it's like 40 people running. But his guy, who he put up, isn't doing well in the polls. Isn't gaining any grounds or momentum. So this is why he wanna have the elections later, so he can have time to help sell this guy to the people. Even though he tried to do that already, and the people were like, "No, we're not feeling him." Now, when you get your cabinet, your parliament, because it's the Constitution, you have to alter your Constitution. You know, and so they did, and people were outraged about that because they felt like once you start altering the Constitution for some willy-nilly foolishness, then you're gonna create a problem down the road. This is gonna become habit, and people are rightly concerned about this. I was concerned about it too, and it ain't my country, but I understand if you start messing with your Constitution over some old foolishness about who's gonna become president, then you're gonna have a problem on your hands because the people are not gonna go for it. And these young people are not. I mean, they're just like, So now the president will serve his term. He had 2 terms of eight-year terms, 2 terms of 8 years. So he's already served long enough. So he can't serve again. So I imagine, this is just me thinking this, that he wants somebody in there who will continue to do his work, meaning he could tell them what to do. And the people, I think, see through that. They're like, we see this. We see this. We're not, nope, that's not happening. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna pay attention. So that was that part. I think tomorrow I'll talk about um, going to Gory Island, to the door of no return. That is still underneath my skin in a very real way. When you step on that ground, you feel it. I'm not making that up. When you step on that hollowed ground, if you're black, I don't know if white people could feel this. You feel it. So I was gonna talk about it yesterday. So we're talking about it. I'll talk more about it tomorrow too. But I stood in the space where Nelson Mandela went for 5 minutes. It's this room that's like deliberately lowered to knee level. Like when you got to hunch down to get in it, and there's no standing. You have to stay hunched down. So he went in there for 5 minutes, and he was just like shook. I went in there. I stayed a minute, and I was shook. I was nervous about doing it because I was like, am I gonna be able to get the hell out of here? That's my first thought. Like, am I gonna go in here and fall back through time? Because that's what you think when you're in there. Or maybe I've been reading too much Octavia Butler or Kindred last summer is in my brain. But that's what I thought. But I did it. I made sure everybody's watching because if I fall back, somebody better jump through the hole and get me. So I stood in there. It was overwhelming. You know what? This is what I think. I don't think white people should be allowed to be in that space with black people. I just don't. And they used to have it segregated like that. But I don't think white people should be in that space with black people. It's just too sacred and too emotional. And European white people are just are annoying. and they have no grace and no couth, as my grandmother would say. They've got no couth. And so people who were guiding us made sure that white folks didn't come in the same space that we were in. So they would block the door because white folks would just come in acting like assholes, you know. And we were in there crying. And so they would just put their bodies between us and the door so these folks couldn't come in. And they was a little annoyed, but they couldn't kick nobody's ass because they're surrounded by all these Africans. What you gonna do? You feeling froggy? I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to throw no hands up in the door, no return. I know damn well you're not gonna try to throw no hands in the slave house, because every African that ever came through there would well up through them walls and beat y'all to death. I just don't think white folks should be in that space with black people. I don't. I don't think that spaces should have that part of it. I don't. It was jarring to see white people in that space, and they might have been well meaning. I don't. From the ones I could tell, they were just clowning, taking. I mean, just clowning. You know, ooh. You know, European white people get on my nerves. Really, they got on my nerves. But it didn't ruin it for me. Like first of all, I was gonna let them ruin it. And, you know, I'm 5'8", so I'm pretty imposing as a figure anyway. And then, you know, with a commanding voice, I don't care whether you don't think I speak Wolof or French or whatever the hell. When I speak, you take notice. I don't care what language you speak. When you hear me say, back up off me, you know what that means in any language. I'm 5'8". That's pretty damn tall. And I'm big, right? 276 pounds. I'm imposing. So there's that. It was you know, Goree Island, people live on it now. Like they've got a small population of people who live on it. You know, there's schools there, you know, like high school, elementary school, shops, church, you know, all kinds of stuff. People live like Martha's Vineyard, but not. A ferry takes you over like Martha's Vineyard, the whole thing. And I think, and there's restaurants because we had lunch at a restaurant there, which was very nice. Lots of flies and mosquitoes. Oh my God, these mosquitoes were relentless. But being on that hallowed ground and walking through it, and it's a museum. You know, they've got artifacts. You know, they've got slave chains. I mean, it's just a lot in one space. You know, it's one thing to see artifacts somewhere outside somewhere, but to have them in the place where they were used, it's quite stunning to the senses. It was a lot. And we had a wonderful guide. And he's a guide. He doesn't take white people on this tour at all. That's what he said. He's like, I don't tour white people. I only tour black people. I respect that because I get it. Because I think it would be hard to. I think for that space, I understand that. I wasn't mad. And that's the only time I've seen that many white people when I was in Africa. Seriously. On the ferry to Goree Island. And let me tell you something about European white people. They honestly think they are superior. Like they have this attitude. And I'm American through and through. So, you know, I don't feel compelled to give them any kind of grace around where they want to sit and all this other kind of stuff. I just don't. I'm like, I'm sitting here. What's the problem? You know. So you could tell they were annoyed by the American blacks, because we just go our own way. We like, we're not doing this. So it was arresting to. I think the saving grace was out of all of that, particularly when you stand in the door of no return. Like when you stand in that door and you look out to the ocean, and it's the ocean where this would be the last place slaves would see before being packed into the slave ship. You stand in that door and it's beautiful out there. The sun is shining, the water is blue. I mean, it's stunning. But that men, women, and children went through that door to never return. Never return. And so what gave me grace? That when you look out now, the children are playing. African children are playing in the water, swimming. They got their boats. They're having a good time with their friends. You could hear their laughter. And when we got down there after lunch to get closer to them, to the beach, and there's more stuff to see on the other side. it gives you a full circle. So you're not stuck with those Africans going through that door of no return. That you're not stuck there with them. And it wasn't lost on me that I am a returning African. That's what gave me grace, that I returned. So that this door is no longer just the door of return. That this door is a door of remembrance and reverence. That it's no longer, that I can stand in that door and not be afraid. Because I'm visiting. I am visiting. And I am standing in that door saying to Africans that have gone through that door never to return, that you have returned. That was all of that in my heart. And you can't not get there. You can't not understand that when you're standing in that damn door. You're like, but I'm an African and I am back. And you know you are African. I have no idea what tribe or wherever I come from in that whole continent. But I'm going to tell you right now, I knew myself to be African standing in that damn door. I knew myself. It was as if somebody took a piece of a puzzle and said, oh, this fits. Boop, boop. And I immediately understood. I'm African. So when there's a side, there's the slave house is where the slaves were housed before they, so they had rules for girls, little girls, menstruating girls, boys, men, old men. Like they had broken it up. And they would be there for a period of time before you got on the slave ship. Like you didn't just arrive today and then get on the slave ship today. They had to make sure, they had to weed out the folks who they thought were gonna die. They had to weed out the ones they thought were gonna be a problem. They had to feed you, fatten you up. They were doing all that kind of stuff, So it was, they had a whole method to their madness about how to do this, how to take these people, how to kidnap these people. There was a whole method to this, and you stand there and you know it. So with the final room that you walk through is the room where there is a pool of water, a bubbling water, that allows you to put your hands in and have prayer or whatever you want to do to honor whatever. And again, they blocked the door so that we could be in there by ourselves. And it's dark. It's they just put lights in the last, I don't know, 2017, 2018. They put these little pin lights in because before it'd be just dark as hell in there. And then the way that this house is built, the windows are like little slivers, so you can't fit through. You could put your hand through, but you can't get through because they didn't want people escaping. you know. And so I put my hand there, and you could feel the cool air. And I thought, man, and you could see the ocean. You could see the ocean, and you could hear the ocean, but you could not get to the ocean. So it was those kinds of things that really, I'm so glad that I got to have that experience. It really was like a missing puzzle piece. It's hard to explain. I wonder if of other black people, when they come, do they feel very African? I mean, the women I was with, I think so. We were talking about this, you know. Oh, but it was so emotional. I mean, you can't help but not. It's just hard. It's just a hard piece of history to take in. It's just a hard piece of history. I'm glad that it is preserved. I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad I got to see it in my lifetime. I'm glad I got to experience it. I'm glad I got to sit in that space. I'm glad that I got to lean against the walls and just to say to those Africans, we have returned. Not returned to do this all over again, but to return to say, we'll never forget. We will remember. We will remember. So, and there's records of all the slaves that came through, all the enslaved people that came through. They have those records, and you can look at them. You can see what they went for and all that kind of stuff. It was just tough. And then we had lunch, sat on the beach for a bit, got back on the ferry, and ferried back across the waters. Went on to the next thing. And it was a lot. It was a lot. But it was a good day. And then, from there we went to the Museum of Black Civilization. And that was nice. It was the right thing, to just come full circle. So that was good. I had a good time. So, it was good. It was a good time. I so appreciated the company and the time, and the people. Took such good care of us. And so now all I want is like some African food now. Like I gotta go find my way to a Senegalese restaurant or some kind of West African restaurant. Because, and it's not lost on me how Jamaican food is very African. Like Jamaican food is very African. Very, very African. As a matter of fact, there's a Jamaican restaurant across the beach, across the water. when we went to have lunch across the water, across the beach. You had to get in a little boat, run you over, and then the boat takes you on a tour through the mangrove and the inlet, and you get to see all the. It's just serene. I would have a house right there in that water. Beautiful, just beautiful. And to be in a black country to see black surfers, just everybody's black. Everybody's swimming, kids are swimming. Uh, the goat herders are out there washing the goats in the ocean. That's like, I don't know where you see that. Like, my man is literally washing the goats in the ocean, like scrubbing them down. And the little boy is like tending to the other goats. And these goats are like, yeah, we come to the beach all the time. Because they was chilling. They wasn't running away or anything. They was just like, be back at the beach. I was like, all right. Okay. It was so interesting. It was beautiful to see all these kids and people swimming in the ocean, women, Muslim women, all kinds of people. Just, I mean, yeah, there was some white folks there, but they were the backdrop. They weren't centered. You know, they just weren't centered. So, we had lunch on the beach one day, and it was great. It was great. Beautiful. I to see these very elegant women walk down the street with big ass baskets on their heads with children in tow. Or, sometimes we'd be out and kids were getting out of school and you'd see kids. And kids are kids all the world around. You see them with their friends. You see them stopping at little shops. You see them getting their little drinks. All the kind of stuff that kids all around the world do. They break off in their little sets. Some go that way, some go that. You know what I mean? And they're talking and excited and, animated. It was beautiful to see. They were just going to school. Just going to school. So it was just beautiful. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go back. I really can't wait to go back. Because it was so profoundly good. We went on safari. Safari was interesting. To see animals up close is I'm no fan of stuff like that, but it is something to see. To see animals, and they are full range, full run of stuff, and they take care of them, full run. There's no fence. I mean, the only things that were fenced in were the hyenas, because them mofos is dangerous and cutthroat. They'll kill everything. So they have a big old space that they could be in, but they are fenced all the way around. They're like, no, we can't let the hyenas run free. But everybody else, all the other the cattle, ox, whatever the hell it is, all these things, deer, no, not deer, but look like deer, ostriches all over the place, zebras, monkeys. I mean, all the stuff. And then they keep the big cats in another part of the zoo, like across the street in their own, because them mofos is predatory. So you can't, the animals that they had on this side, docile, not docile, but, you can't, they're not gonna do each other in. They're not mean to each other. They're not hunting each other. The rhinoceros. If you've never seen a rhinoceros up close, those things are huge. Huge. It's beautiful. And the rainy season will be in June. So the grounds will get green again. The ground will get green, and because it was very dry, uh, but it'll look like the Garden of Eden once it rains. Once it starts raining, and it's not like it'll rain and it'll be damp and it'll be damp, so everything will thrive, you know, for a time. But it was still beautiful out there, even though it was dry. And to see a baobab tree up close, I put my arms around an 800-year-old baobab tree, huge. And they used to bury storytellers. The griots used to be buried in the baobab trees because that's how you first honor the rain to return and to keep the stories in the earth. I was like, whoa. But then they stopped doing it because, people would dig them up and want their bones. Ah, just a level of foolishness. But so they don't do that anymore. But they fenced in the ones that have them so that people um, couldn't steal them. So yeah. So I'm gonna take a break in a few minutes. But I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the baobab tree. It's beautiful, and it's fruit producing tree. But they are climate change is causing some of them to fall over because the droughts are lasting longer between the rainy seasons. So they're not getting enough something. They can't quite figure out. And you can't do anything with baobab wood. It's too soft. Like you can't carve it. You can't. There's nothing to be done with it. Uh, but they live to about 1,000 years. You know, they are majestic. When you see them, you know them. You're like, whoa, it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting looking tree. So, very interesting looking tree. So I'm gonna go on break in a few minutes. At 10:15, I have my first guest. My first guest. I'm excited to welcome the folks from the Creative Arts Workshop. Kim Weston won't be on this call, but she is the curator of Made Visible, Origins and Belonging. And so I think I have to lift my glasses because now I'm at this place where I don't need them to read. Or if I push, Bethany Blake will be my guest. Tricia Learned, who is the interim executive director, is coming on, and Shonda Holloway, who I love and adore. They are coming on to talk about this exhibit and how it came to be and what should we see and how we see it. So it's at the Creative Arts Workshop. It'll be here from February 1st through March 16th. And so if you've never been to Creative Arts Workshop over there in Audubon Square, you should go. It's a beautiful space. I'm going to make my way to see this exhibit before it closes. Now that I'm back from Africa, I could pick up where I left off. So I'm gonna go check that out. But they're gonna be my guests at 10:15, and we're gonna hear about this exhibit and the origins, the origins of the origin. So y'all hang out. Y'all know what to do. Find a link at 10:15. They'll put it up somewhere, and I'll be back. Okay, maybe I have like a minute. Okay, there we go. Then somebody will play some music, like some Lion King or something. I'll be back in 10:15.